Don't go anywhere. This story will keep you glued to your screen. If you think you've heard every abduction tale before, you're wrong. What you're about to witness is a nightmare grounded in terrifying possibilities. Watch until the very end, because the last revelation changes everything. Chapter 1. The Quiet Before. I didn't think much of the first sign. The dog barking in the dead of night, at nothing. The lights flickering even though we just changed the bulbs. I chalked it up to bad wiring and a high-strung retriever. This house wasn't new, but it was ours. Quiet street, decent neighbors, a place where kids rode bikes until dark, and the worst noise came from lawnmowers on Sunday morning. We moved in 3 months ago. The place had a strange charm, like it had been waiting for someone to care for it. I liked that, at least at first. Then came the birds. One morning, a sound like hail hit the roof. But it wasn't hail. Hundreds of birds, dead, broken, twitching, scattered across our yard like leaves in autumn. No one could explain it. Not animal control. Not the county. Could be a freak migration, they said. Maybe they hit something in the sky. But there wasn't anything in the sky. That's when I began writing everything down. I had to make sense of it somehow. Now, as I tell you this, I know there's no sense to be made. Only survival. Chapter 2. Patterns. We were a family of 3, me, my partner Sam, and our child Riley. Riley had always been imaginative, drawing things that didn't exist, and talking about dreams filled with stars and shadows. But the drawings started to change. They became darker. Circles within circles. Tall, faceless figures. Objects floating in skies filled with lightning. And always, the triangle. An inverted triangle with a single dot in the center. Sam didn't want to worry. Said Riley had always had a vivid imagination. Maybe fueled by too much TV, or those strange YouTube videos kids managed to find. But I could see it. Something had changed. Riley had started sleepwalking. Talking in their sleep. Whispering in a language that didn't belong to any human I knew. We installed cameras. Every room. At first, it felt like overkill, until we watched the footage. Riley stood in the kitchen at 3:17 a.m., eyes open, staring at the fridge. They didn't blink for 8 straight minutes. Then the knives lifted, one by one, off the counter and hovered midair before clattering to the floor. No strings, no tricks. We didn't sleep that night. Chapter 3. The Man in the Park. Desperate for answers, I posted on a forum. Somewhere between UFO truthers and paranormal obsessives, I found someone who knew what I was going through. He called himself Tennyson, said he'd been marked too. We met in a public park. He looked like someone who used to have a normal life, wore a suit that had seen better days, and clutched a notebook like a lifeline. They've chosen your child, he said. There's a pattern to the ones they take. It always starts small: electronics, animals, birds. Then the symbols. Then the loss of time. He showed me pages filled with equations, drawings, and newspaper clippings. Families who vanished overnight. Kids who remembered things that hadn't happened yet. Marks, burned into skin in geometric shapes. He paused and looked around before whispering. They don't come from the sky. Not anymore. They're already here. I left that meeting more scared than comforted. He warned me not to trust anyone who asked too many questions. Not even the authorities. Especially not them. Chapter 4. Missing time. The next week, we lost 4 hours. All of us. I was baking cookies with Riley. Sam was out front mowing the lawn. Then blink, everything jumped. The oven timer reset. The sun had moved. Riley was in the basement. None of us remembered going down there. But Riley's nose was bleeding and they kept murmuring. They showed me the tunnel. They said I have to choose. Choose what? They wouldn't say. The cameras glitched during that span. Just static. But one frame. Just one. Showed a figure standing in the hallway. At least 8 feet tall. Too thin. No eyes. Just smooth gray flesh and elongated limbs. It didn't move. It didn't need to. It knew we saw it. Chapter 5. They walk among. Strange people started showing up around town. Perfect smiles. Perfect posture. They didn't blink enough. They always wore blue. One followed me through the grocery store, never picking anything up, just walking behind me. When I turned around, they smiled and said, "You're doing very well. Keep going." I didn't stay to ask what they meant. Riley became obsessed with the stars. Spent hours drawing constellations that didn't match anything on record. One night, they stood by the window and whispered, "They're almost ready. I won't remember you soon." I asked what that meant, and they only looked at me confused. "Who are you?" Chapter 6, the final night. We made a plan to run. Packed bags, cash, left the phones behind. Tennyson told us the only way to escape was to disconnect completely. No signals, no electricity, no contact. But we never made it. At 2:46 a.m., the power cut out. Every light in the neighborhood died. The sky lit up, not with lightning, but with a grid of pulsing lights, like something enormous above us had turned on. Riley stood in the yard, barefoot, staring up. "They're here," they whispered. Figures descended, like shadows peeling off reality. One touched Sam's chest, and they collapsed, convulsing. I ran, grabbed Riley, tried to pull them back inside. Too late. A blinding flash. The sound of wind, but in reverse. A pressure in my skull, like I was being turned inside out. And then silence. I woke up alone in the living room. Everything back in place. Except Riley. Gone. Chapter 7, Aftermath. The police found no signs of break-in. No signs Riley ever existed. School records deleted. Photos vanished. Even Sam had no memory. They believed me at first. Cried for hours. But within a day, they acted like nothing had happened. When I showed Sam the drawings, gone. The triangle burned into Riley's wall, gone. Every shred of proof, erased. Except the mark on my neck. A small, inverted triangle. Red, raised, hot to the touch. I searched for Tennyson. His apartment empty. His phone disconnected. I wasn't just alone. I was rewritten. Chapter 8, The Signal. Months passed. Sometimes I hear static when I'm near certain devices. I avoid mirrors now. Sometimes I see something standing behind me, watching, waiting. At night, I hear Riley's voice. "I chose you to remember." I think that's the worst part. Not the fear, not even the loss. It's the certainty that they haven't finished with me, that they're waiting for something. And when the time comes, I'll vanish too. If you found this story chilling, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another tale. Like the video, share with friends, and let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced anything unexplained?